Hi everyone, welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name's Imogen. In today's video, I'm discussing the high points of university. For me, if you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that. Give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and let's get started. So, if you've been on my channel for a while, you probably know that I go to Durham. If you're new here, hi, I go to Durham, and I am graduating tomorrow. So, I just wanted to reflect on my time at Durham, and basically just sort of reflect on the high points of university. I'm also going to do a video on the hardest things I had to deal with at university, so stay tuned for that. But for now, let's talk about the high points, and let's start with first year. So first year I was living in Durham Castle because my college is University College, and this was an amazing experience for me because I got to live in this really historical building, very central Durham, and I got to meet some amazing people. So living in Castle was a huge high point, and if you haven't already seen my video on my tour of Castle, go check that out on my channel because I filmed a whole Castle College vlog tour which people apparently really liked. So if you haven't already seen that, go check it out. But living in Castle was amazing, and yeah, I just woke up really grateful every day to be there. So that was a huge high point of first year. Another high point of first year was I did a really nice climate change module. I just really liked this module. It's called Introduction to Climate Change. So if anyone else who's watching this did it with me, then hi. But yeah, it was really, I have a big personal interest in climate change. It's one of the reasons that I took geography to begin with. But it was a really well-run module. They covered a lot of material, but in a fairly accessible way. I still felt intellectually challenged. I enjoyed the assignments. I got good grades. It was just kind of a dream module almost. So my climate change module in first year was a big sort of positive educational experience for me. I also did a module which obviously was compulsory on human geography, and that had a lecture block on nature and the theory of nature, and I really enjoyed this as well. This was another academic high point of first year because they were talking about, what we can consider to be nature and how we define nature and how we relate to it, and that was just something that I was so fascinated by, and it was also a really well-run lecture block, so I really enjoyed that. And I also enjoyed the fact that first year allowed me to do a little bit of human geography, a little bit of physical geography. You sort of mix it up. My degree is in physical geography, but I still got to explore the more human geography side of geography in general, so I really appreciated that chance. And the last thing that I wanted to point out from first year was the ability to try things out knowing that I just had to pass academically. So in Durham, first year basically doesn't count as long as you get 40% across the whole year. Now obviously I'm a very academically ambitious person and I don't like getting things wrong, so I was trying my absolute hardest to do as well as I possibly could, but knowing there was a safety net, it's okay if you try something and it doesn't work out because all you got to do is pass, and those marks don't count towards your final degree. That was something I really appreciated about the Durham degree structure because I didn't do as I did fine. I didn't do as well as I would have liked in first year, but it kind of gave me the opportunity to try things out, do well, do worse, and that was something I really appreciated. Okay, let's move on to second year. So I had a field trip. I had several field trips in second year, but one that was really memorable to me was we went to the lakes, and we went for a week, and I and 4 other people, I think, were doing a project on understanding how wildfires had impacted one particular area in the Lake District, and one wildfire in particular, and then we had to do research and follow up on it and write it up and present at the end of the week. And I had honestly one of the nicest groups I've ever worked with. Now obviously, group projects can be a bit touch and go. They could be really good or they could be really terrible, and it just depends on who you get, and I had an amazing group. So again, if any of them are watching, thank you for being so cool. But yeah, they really made that field trip for me, so I was kind of trepidatious about it, but it actually went off really well, and we did really well. So that was also a big highlight of second year. And on a different module in second year, which was about the carbon and biogeochemical cycles, I got to work in the Durham labs. So we were doing titrations and all sorts of lab work, and I really appreciated the opportunity to do lab work because it was just something that I really enjoyed, and I got a lot out of academically. I felt like a proper scientist, I guess. But yeah, the opportunity to do lab work, especially with such sort of professional and understanding supervision, was an amazing experience, and I really feel like I learned a lot from that experience. Even though I'm not directly working in a field that requires me to be in a lab, it was still like a really, really good experience for me, and something that I'm not going to forget in a hurry. Okay, so let's move on to third year. In third year, I worked on 6 modules, including my dissertation, which was 1 module. I had my dissertation and 5 other modules. And a big highlight of my modules was I had a module called catchment modelling. And well, technically it was called catchment modelling and management. So it was basically about like fluvial systems, rivers and so forth. And as the assessment for this module, we basically had to build a flood model from scratch in this software, and we had to run it, and we had to do like several scenarios. We put in different like flood defences and so forth, and we'd run it, and we'd assess like the costs and benefits, and we'd make recommendations for Kendal, which obviously is a real town where they really have a lot of flooding problems. And I sort of created that start to finish, and I spent a long time on it and a lot of time and energy, and I felt my grade was reflective of that. So that was a really satisfying experience. I sort of built this thing kind of from scratch, and the teaching on that module was amazing, and just generally I feel like I learned so much, and it was also really applicable to the real world, because that is a job. Like, some people just do that for their jobs, and that was similar to some of the jobs I actually applied for. So I am very qualified to work in the flood management sector. If anyone out there at some point in my later career maybe wants to hire me, but for now I'm working in data analytics, so you can all go away. But anyway, I really enjoyed that module, and it was a good experience, and I enjoyed the assignment, so that was really fun. I also really enjoyed my hazards module. I did pretty well on both the essay and the exam for that, which is kind of unusual because I usually do like better or worse on one assignment, but I got the exact same grade on both, and it was good, so I really enjoyed that. And also that was an interdisciplinary module, so I got to talk about like sort of the human dynamics of risk environments, and also the physical dynamics of risk environments. So that was fascinating, and we had some amazing guest lecturers in that module. I think probably some of the best guest lecturers I've ever had during my time at university. So that was a really fun module, and something that I got a lot of like intellectual enjoyment out of. So, the next thing that I want to talk about that happened in third year that was good was I did a project on the Californian Anthropocene, specifically agriculture in the Californian Anthropocene, and I got a first on the module and the project. So I am, obviously, for the record, I got a 2-1 overall, and I was not like super used to getting firsts, and I wasn't expecting necessarily to get a first at all. Like, I knew my project was good, and I was pretty certain it was a solid 2-1, but it came back and it was like, I got a 74. So that's like a mid-first, and I was just absolutely floored. I was like, wow, okay. I mean, I'm sure there are many of you watching who that is just another Tuesday, but for me that was a big deal, and I felt really validated by that. So that was really good. And also I worked really hard on it, and it was something that was very close to my heart because I have a particular like interest in California, both for the sort of like landscape but also the culture. So I actually went to my lecturer, because like they didn't cover California in the module. Went to my lecturer and I said, can I do the final project on California? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. You could just, it's got to be a landscape that's been affected by the Anthropocene, and it had been, obviously. And so I was like, this is great. So I went away, I worked on it, sent it in. I was like, I don't know if this is good, I think it's good. And he was like, you got it first. I was like, yes. So that was extremely validating. And finally, for third year, I have 2 more things. I got to write a dissertation on tropical rainforest deforestation, which is something that I have like been super invested in for like the last probably, like 8 years. Maybe 6. Since I was like 16, I've wanted to go to a really good university to write this dissertation, and I did, and I was very proud of that. And I also got more involved in societies in third year, so I joined the Dungeons and Dragons Society, and some other societies, and I really like connected with a lot of people that I wouldn't otherwise have met, so that was a really good experience. So those are all of the things from first, second and third year, and now I have like a little section of stuff that I enjoyed overall, like highlights that were overall not necessarily linked to one particular year. I went to 2 very good house parties. You can tell I don't go out much, right? Anyway, one in first year, one in second year. The first one was impromptu and the second one was Halloween. So I really enjoyed that, and you can tell I don't go out much, but I did have a good time on those 2 occasions. Getting to ask world experts my silly little academic questions. Like, there were a ton of world experts at Durham, and also meeting the academics who wrote the textbook. Like, you'd go to a lecture and you realise, like, the lecturer is the guy who wrote the core text for the course, and that's just astonishing. And then you get to, like, put your hand up and be like, I have this question, and you're, like, getting talked to about your subject by a world expert. Wow. I met some amazing close friends. If you're watching, hello, hi, I love you all. I also got a sense of pride in my work on occasion. Now, obviously, I did struggle a lot with, like, imposter syndrome at Durham, but I did feel a huge sense of pride in my work on occasion, and that is, like, you can't beat that feeling. Like, that is the best feeling. I got to write my thesis on tropical deforestation. I've mentioned that, but it was like an ongoing thing that I thought about a lot. I learned about coding. I did not expect to have so much computer science and data science in my geography degree, but now I'm actually working in data science, so it paid off. And I also got to learn about machine learning, so that's cool. That was very cool. And castle formals and balls. So at my college we have, like, a lot of formals and balls. In first year I went to Castle June Ball, second year I went to Halfway Hall, which is like a ball for second years, halfway through a degree, and then this year, final year, I went to Castle June Ball again, and all of those were amazing. So I really enjoyed that, and some amazing memories were made. Alright, those are all the highlights that I can think of for my Durham degree over the last 3 years. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that, give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye!